Hey guys, Jen here from A Diary of a Dreamer, and today I wanted to do another process video with you in my traveler's notebook using some Felicity Jane products and this picture of my husband and I from our wedding. Alright, let's get started. So before I get into the actual process video, I wanted to show you what I've been doing with some of my Felicity Jane Kit, not some of. Right now, I only have the Joy Kit. God, that's annoying. Sorry about that. Right now, I only have the Joy Kit. I just started subscribing to Felicity Jane in December. No, earlier this month is when I started my actual subscription. I got the Joy Kit in December based off of a couple of YouTubers like Teresa Moxley of Larkin Design and Victoria Calvin of Victoria Marie Scraps. So I decided to give the Joy Kit a try. I really liked it, and so I ended up starting a subscription to them. So you guys should see more of their products in future videos. So this is what I have done with what was left of my kit from the Joy Kit at Christmas time. I forget which video I watched, I'll link it down below, about a lady that as soon as she gets her kits, she goes through and she purges through to see what she will and will not use. And then I think it was someone else who actually talks about how they cut down their 12 by 12 papers to make them more manageable. So I will look through my video history and share that with you. But this is what I did. So I cut the 12 by 12 papers into a 6 by 8, a 4.15, so 4 1/4. But no, that's still not right. I can't math. Yeah, no. 4.15 by 8.15. Traveler's notebook size. Let's go with that. It's a traveler's notebook size, guys. 4 by 6s, and then I usually have some miscellaneous scraps left over. So I just cut them all down. So that way I actually used them, because this is the last one I cut. Because this was my favorite paper as part of the kit. And I didn't really want to use it. But I know that realistically I need to start using my stuff more. So I cut it down to various sizes that I feel like I would actually use the product in. 4 by 6, 3 by 4, and 6 by 8 are for pocket scrapbooking. And then obviously Traveler's Notebook and the miscellaneous sizes are for just wherever I can fit it in. So you'll see that I did surprisingly keep the pink paper. You guys know me, I don't like the color pink. Never have, never will. But that doesn't mean other people in my life don't like the color pink, like my mom. And if I'm going to do scrapbook layouts about my mom, I should probably have some papers and her favorite color to go with the layout, which was actually something I picked up from Essie. Yeah, Essie over at, I think it's Essie Makes. I'll link her channel below. But she was talking about how she keeps colors of paper because she may not like them, but whoever she's scrapbooking about might. So I thought that was pretty smart. So I decided to do the same. So I cut all of these papers down, so that way I can actually get around to using them. And I put them in their own box because I plan on doing this with all of my Felicity Jane products, so that way I can keep everything together. And that way it's easier to pull from. To coincide with that, I have one of these. You can pick them up at Michael's. And falling over. That's where I'm going to hold the different pieces of the kits from Felicity Jane. So, oh, here's more 3 by 4 cards. These are the leftover 3 by 4 cards from the kit. Those are gonna go in there. And then I have all of the ephemera pieces. And I guess I can actually get rid of this because I don't need it. So yeah, that is how I plan on storing all of this. So yeah, so now we're actually going to get started on the process video. Alright, so I am going to begin by trimming down that picture. I printed it and a bunch of others on my 13 by 19 large format printer, and so the way I printed it a little big. So I'm just going to cut it down real quick. I start with this paper trimmer because it cuts straighter lines than my other one, but then I realized that I can't measure to make sure that that is 8.15 inches tall, so then I have to pull out this one again. I think I honestly just need a new blade. The blade of that one has fallen out a couple of times because it's not all one piece, so. And then I'm just measuring to make sure that that fits inside the Traveler's Notebook spread that I am using. This is the same Traveler's Notebook, if you're interested, that I used in my Larkin Design January Team Project video. So the information about that is there. Now I'm just pulling some of the 4x6 cards that I cut out. I really wanted to use this rose paper. What you can't tell in that picture, maybe you can, I don't know. But our photographer, who's a good friend of mine, took some rose petals that we had, and he had dropped them, or he had some of our friends throw them right before he took the picture. So that's what all those big white spots are. And this happens to be one of my favorite photos of my husband and I from October when we had our big family celebration. So I'm taking that wood grain 4x6 card that I cut from the paper, and 2 of the tags from the Joy Kit, and I'm going to layer them behind. This is something I saw Essie Ruth do, and again I'll link her channel below. So the colors for our wedding celebration were midnight blue, or royal blue, and silver. However, because this kit was Christmassy, it didn't have that, so I used a lot of black and white and a little bit of red. I used that red banner die cut that you can, or the scalloped edge die cut that you can see at the bottom, and that's really the main piece of red in this layout. So I've got everything laid out, and I'm just kind of looking for some more gold stars. I had another one, couldn't figure out where it went. I find it again later. Just going with like Ali Edwards' rule of 3 thing that she likes to do, where she likes to do embellishments in groups of 3. So that way it's repeated across the page. I guess it's more of a visual triangle thing. Here you saw my phone because I was taking a picture of how I had the layout because I liked how it was, and I wanted to make sure that I kind of put things back in the same place. Now I'm going to start adhering things after I punch out the little holes that are in the tags. So, as I mentioned earlier in the video, I fell in love with this particular kit thanks to Victoria Marie Scraps and Teresa Moxley of Larkin Design, and so I decided to purchase it, and I honestly did not use it a whole lot in my December daily, but I still wanted to make sure that I used the kit because while it's supposed to be a Christmas kit, not everything in there obviously is predominantly Christmas. So I just adhered that 4x6 card, the wood grain paper, and then I cut it down to fit, and I'm going to add more adhesive to make sure that it stays. I'm going to line it up with the outside edge of the notebook. If you haven't used a Traveler's Notebook before, then the reason I did that is because the more you fill the Traveler's Notebook, the more the center kind of gets bulky or whatnot. And then also turning the pages, if you've got something right up against the edge of that center line where it rubs against another piece of paper, it makes it really hard to turn the pages and it can ruin whatever is touching that edge. So I just made sure that I cut it down a little bit, gave it some space, and called it a day. Cut down that floral tag that I really like, and then I cut down at a smaller size that polka dot tag to give it a variety. And now I'm just going to adhere this, after I cut it down, I'm going to adhere this strip that came in the die cut pack of the Joy Kit and just put that at the bottom. Again, lining it up with the edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this scallop banner. I'm cutting it off so that way I can use it again later if I would like. I went to go get my glossy accents, but it's a little stuck up at the top, and I can't figure out where the safety, not the safety pin, but the little pin that I pulled out for that went, so instead I grabbed my Tombow Mono adhesive glue, the wet glue that I have, the aqua glue, excuse me, and I'm going to use that instead. So I'm just going to line this up with the edge of the paper as well, and then I'm going to start adhering a couple of these little gold stars. Now, honestly, gold is not my favorite color out of gold and silver, but it's what was in the kit, and so for consistency's sake, I was trying to use only Felicity Jane products. That was when I found that 4th star I was looking for. But I tried to use only Felicity Jane products, and with the exception of the photo and a heart you'll see later in the spread, I actually did just that. The entire layout was from the Joy Kit. So I'm pretty impressed with myself. Now I'm just going to, I'm trying to get the top of my quick stick off, but for some reason it's really stuck on there. I've actually got 2 of them because the other one got super stuck. So, but I finally give up and I'm just like, alright, tweezers it is. I got these tweezers from EK Success. I know in the States you can get them from, what is the name of that store? AC Moore for sure, and you might be able to pick them up. You should be able to pick them up at Hobby Lobby and Michael's, but I know I saw them the other day at AC Moore. So I'm just going to use them real quick to help me adhere the stars onto the corners of that sheet. And then I'm going to put some more Tombow Mono tape runner down the page to make sure that this sticks, because the previous page is pretty bulky. I'm using extra tape that is probably necessary, and that's okay. So now I'm going to use the thickers from the kit to spell out my best friend. Using a Thickers alphabet ruler, and I had a good idea of how to do this, but I really should have just used like a transparency or some glassine or something else that was a little more see-through, because this turned out to be a pain in the rear. I was trying to line up the words closely for the title. I'm not going to do any other journaling other than put a date stamp, but I have that whole wood grain piece to fill. And I'm struggling on how to do the letters. I found a random letter that turned out to be an I stuck to my fingernail, but I ended up needing that for the word friend, so it worked out. But I'm struggling on how to put the words so that way they look balanced. And I'm going to stick the entire title onto this ruler before I actually stick it to the page. I like the font of this alphabet, however the letters are really thin, so they kind of warp easily, which was kind of a bummer. But you live and you learn to be careful, right? I'm sorry if you can hear my printer in the background. I was printing stuff off earlier, so it's going to make a lot of noise for no reason. Or finally decided to print a document that I've been waiting for like 5 minutes. That's awesome. So I'm really sorry about that noise, guys. I will try to make sure that it's quieted in the video, or when I actually post this video. So here's what I mean about the letters can warp pretty well if you're not careful, because the legs of the M were not cooperating, and neither was the Y. So maybe I should, just for future reference to self and anyone else who has these rulers, maybe just only use the ruler on the thickers, because they don't seem to warp. So I decided to offset the words to and put some space between them, so that way they kind of fill up the card, because like I said, I'm not going to do any other journaling other than just the title. I'm trying to keep things simple, and yeah. And I've also got a list of projects I want to work on today, so I can't spend forever on one project. And also, there is an entire album for my wedding that I created, or that I'm working on. I decided to do my guest book and a 12 by 12 album that also includes our wedding photos from our photographer, and there will be a flip-through video of that later on once it is finished. Now, the last thing I have to do is write out the word friend. And my video is going to cut off here in a couple moments. Luckily, I turned the sound back on my camera and I caught it right as it cut out, so that way I was able to turn it back on. For some reason, recording some videos, it will only let me record for a certain length of time before it cuts out. It doesn't run out of memory space. It just decides it wants to stop recording. So, that's always fun. The N is another letter that struggled a lot with warping, but I think I made it work. And yeah, so this is the heart that I was talking about. That is the only non-Felicity Jane product on the page. It's actually a blue heart to go with the color blue in our wedding, from the Ali Edwards For the Love kit. And I'm going to use some of these asterisks from the Felicity Jane Joy Kit in red, so that way I can tie in more red with that banner that I really liked. I'm just going to use the little ones, and I'm going to cluster them around the gold stars that are on both pages. Then I'm going to grab my date stamp. I know you can pick them up at any of their at any of the office supply stores. That was me just checking to see if I dated any of the other projects that were in the beginning of this notebook, and I realized I hadn't, so I need to go back and do that. So that was when the video cut out there real quick, and now I'm just going to put today's date at the bottom. I'm going to clean off my stamp real quick. I actually need to use my stamp shammy to clean it off better. And yeah, that's the end of this project. I've got a couple still photos coming up for you guys to check out. Please make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the little bell over by subscribe so that way you get notified every time I post a video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comment box below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Alright guys, have a good day.